And we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. I thought I'd just go live straight away after that finished the first run through. How are we all doing today? Hello, Jurassic Nation. I know Barger and 42 Ostriches and Blobfishman are here as well. Glitch Trap is here too. Hello. And welcome to Thursday's stream. And today we're going to be tackling, as you all voted for, the question of Jurassic World Evolution 2's rating system, because there are some problems with it. Now, I was going to do this as a video, but you all voted for it to be a live, so I thought let's start with addressing what the problem is with the rating system. And I think we can see the problem with the rating system by looking at this. This is the Dino database online. And as you can see, I think there are some problems, because it seems like the rating, which is arbitrarily given to each species, doesn't seem to be entirely making sense. For example, Triceratops is a lowly 108 out of a possible 2,500. Stegosaurus is, I don't think, much higher, a lowly 219. And the rating system doesn't make very much sense to me. And one of the main things that I always think back on is this rating system here. This is the rating system from Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. So as you can see, it was based on a star rating, and the carnivores and the herbivores were divided into their star ratings, and there was equal possibility of there being top-ranked carnivores and top-ranked herbivores. So you can see quite rightly the big names: Brachiosaurus, Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus, T-Rex, Velociraptor, etc. They were at the top, and it made more sense to me. And I know Blobfish, don't worry, we'll get to the interactive part in a minute, but I thought it was best to explain where we're coming from with the problems with the rating system. So as a little experiment, what I did was I took Jurassic World Evolution 2's animals and divided them into a 5-star rating system. And then what I ended up with was this. And you can really see here how massively weighted toward one end the rating system is of Jurassic World Evolution. And if we do it like this method, in actual fact, there are some very big name animals: Parasaurolophus, Dilophosaurus, Triceratops, Iguanodon, Velociraptor, Pteranodon, Stegosaurus, Brachiosaurus, that would all, in theory, only be 1-star animals if we treated the rating system like Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. So, the job for today is to come up with a better rating for all of the animals in the game. And how we're going to do it is we're going to use our trusty tier list. And as you can see, what we are going to do is we are going to determine, let me just put this into full screen. We are going to determine the rating of the animals, and we're going to come up with a 10-star rating system. So we're going to try to create something that's a little more fair. And just as an example, I think let's start with the really obvious animals. So T-Rex is obviously going to be a 10-star animal. It's very big in the public consciousness. It's a very big carnivore. It's a famous animal. It's going to be a top-rated creature. The same as Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus is going to be a 10-star rated animal. Barger, it's not pre-recorded. I'm literally here talking to you. Like I say though, this was going to be a video, so I already know what I want to be doing. It's already like half planned out, so relax. Where is Triceratops? Why can't I see it? Am I just blind? Where is Triceratops on this? There he is. There he is, right at the very end. God, that took a long time. Thank you, eCats. Triceratops. I don't think Triceratops is as big a draw as, say, Brachiosaurus, but it's still going to be quite high. So I'm probably 9-star for a Triceratops. Stegosaurus, also probably a 9-star animal. There was one other I think is quite strong in the public consciousness. Velociraptor. Velociraptor, very strong in the public consciousness because of Jurassic Park. I don't think it's a 10-star carnivore. Probably a 9-star carnivore. So those, I would argue, are the 5 big public consciousness animals. You know, if you go up to someone in the street, arguably they're all gonna say like T-Rex or Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, or a Velociraptor. They're the big 5. So that gives you some idea of what I'm thinking of for this. So we're going to go through step by step and just put them into the rating system. Personally, I think that it should be roughly based around how much space each individual animal takes up. Yeah, see, I don't think that would work, because then the sauropods will all be really high. I think rating has to be based on more, which is why I have pinned a comment which says the rating of the animals needs to be based on their size, their public popularity, and the unique quality of the animals. So that's what I'm going to be going for. So let's start with the movie animals. Let's get the movie animals out of the way. Let's start with Jurassic Park 1. We've already done T-Rex, Brachy, Trike, the raptors. So Dilophosaurus. I don't think Dilophosaurus is a top tier animal, personally. 8 stars? That's... I mean... Think about all of the other... and what we want... Let's be clear, we don't want the rating system to be too heavily loaded towards the top end. We want the rating system to have quite a nice spread all the way through. So, if anything, I would implore you all, be strict with yourself. 6 stars, Potato Man. I think 6 stars is a good idea. You know, it's average, but it's slightly above average. You know, it does have the frills, it does have the venom spit. But it's probably not, you know, it's an animal some guests are going to be enthused by. It's an animal that some people are not going to be enthused by. But you only get 1 or 2 Rexes versus like 8 Raptors. So if Raptors were almost the same rating as the Rex, you would only be incentivized to use the Raptors. Well, this is a difference between... using a rating system that's based on star rating and using the rating system that Jurassic World Evolution 2 actually has. Because our rating system, it doesn't matter how many of the animals you have that are based on that star rating. Because there's not a numerical value here. So actually, the game would have to adjust to have, like, your dinosaur rating would go back to something a bit like the original game, where it was kind of an average rather than, you know, going off the numerical value of the animals you have in the game. So, Dilophosaurus, 6 stars, I totally agree with that. Thinking of other species in the first game, let's do Gallimimus. Gallimimus, I personally think Gallimimus is a 3-star. You know, it's not got that much that makes it interesting or unique. Galley as 5 or 4. Four-star for Galley. Okay, I'd go with that, Finley. Let's make it a 4-star, because obviously at 1-star we're going to have quite a lot of the smaller animals. I think 2 and 3 stars we're going to have some of, you know, Struthy, Archaeornithomimus. So Gallimimus at 4 stars. Yeah, we can always adjust this as we go along. If we think there are some that are now too high, we can always adjust as we go through. And the other Jurassic Park 1 animal is Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus is a curious one because it does have that unique nature of, you know, it's got quite a very cool appearance. Just turn the music down slightly. Parasaurolophus has quite a distinct movie appearance, and don't forget it also has those Lux skins. It is, I mean, and while I don't think Parasaurolophus is well known in the public consciousness, I think people do know of it. I think if you showed them a picture of Parasaurolophus, they probably would turn around and go, "Oh, that one." So I think 7. I think 7 stars is fair, Frogstritch, but we can always, like I say, we can also always adjust up and down. I think the Lux skins definitely makes it a 7. If it didn't have the Lux skins, I think 6. But I think the Lux skins just about nudges it above. Right, Lost World species. Let's do the big one, Mamenchisaurus, first of all. So it's a sauropod. So it's going to have a high rating straight away because it does have that size factor going for it. Eight stars, says Billy Bob. ECAT says 3. Finley says 9. 4. See, I think there are lower sauropods than Mamenchi. I think 7. I think 7 sounds good, Frogstritch. You know, it's getting there, but I think there are other sauropods definitely higher. I don't think it's as low as 5 stars because I think that's something where we would maybe put Diplodocus or Apatosaurus, something like that. I think Mamenchi is better than average, but I don't think it's as good as high. I have a vendetta against Mamenchi. I would say I think they've ruined Mamenchi Glitchtrap. I think the skins from the first game were so much better. Compies. Compies. I'm not gonna take anything on this. It's a 1-star animal. Just is 1 star. Pachycephalosaurus. This one's a difficult one. I was thinking about this while having a shower this morning. It is unusual because of that headbutting nature, because of its aggressiveness. But it doesn't have the size advantage. So, yes, 5 or 6. See, I was thinking this, but is making it a 6 or a 5-star too harsh to it? But at the same time, thinking about all the other animals we've got in game, I think 5 stars. I think maybe 6. Well, as we go along, let's see how it builds up, and I think we can always adjust it up. But we'll stick on 5, I think. If there was a 0 option, I know what Fletcher would choose. Well, yeah, for compies, obviously. But, you know, even a bunch of compies is worth something to the park. Okay, so I'm just thinking about the order of the animals' presentation in the films. Memenchi, Pachycephalosaurus, Compies, we've got T-Rex, we've had the Raptors. We've had the Stegosaurus. I think that's all of the Jurassic, of the Lost World species, isn't it? Coretho. It wasn't Coretho Jurassic Park 3 when it was first on screen. Well, regardless, we'll move on to the third film and we'll include... Obviously, the big one from the third film is... where is it? Is Spinosaurus. Now, I think there may be an argument in chat here. What do we think? Do we think Spinosaurus is worthy of a 10? Or do we think it is not? ECAT says Spinosaurus is a 9. Billy Bob says it's definitely a 10. Glit says 1. 9 says Blob. 10. Finley 10. The spine, yeah, exactly, Finley. I do think Spinosaurus has, you know, it's got the size, it has the fear factor because it is a carnivore, but it does have the frill, which makes it very unique in terms of appearance. So I think 10 stars is fair for Spinosaurus. Okay, 10, but only with the JP3 skin. I think that's fair, he gets. T-Rex we've already done, obviously. That's the next one they see. Corethosaurus is then next. I think we have to be quite harsh with Corethosaurus. It's definitely... I don't think it's as interesting as Para, so it's going to be lower than Para. 3 feels a little low considering we've got Gallimimus at 4. I would argue it's better. It's more interesting as an animal than Gally. It's got. I mean, it's at least as interesting as Pachycephalosaurus, surely. Boy, what says 5? Okay. Corethosaurus at 5. Vargas is 7. I wouldn't go as high as 7. No way is it as good as Para. 5 for Coretho temporarily. Let's see how the rest of the ratings go. What else? Yeah, yes. So we do briefly see Ankylosaurus in JP3. Let's talk about Ankylosaurus once we get to Jurassic World. Because I think it'll start to help us if we did move a few other ones around a bit. So let's leave Ankylo for the moment. Let's talk about Pteranodon. Pteranodon is Pteranodon is another one that I was stuck on in the shower this morning. It's very publicly well known, so that would make it quite high. But in terms of all of the pterosaurs we have in game, I think it's not as interesting as some of them. Billy Bob says a 9. Frogstritch says an 8. See, I was tempted by 8 as well. Because, you know, we have those animals like Quetzal, we've got Tropiognathus. Ptero can be below 8 if Geostambergia is 9. 7 or 8. Let's put it at 8. Because we do have, you know, it is well known in the public consciousness. So I think that would make it an 8 stars. Ceratosaurus, well done for remembering that from JP3. I forgot about that. Cerato as 5. Really? Cerato is less interesting as a carnivore rating-wise than Dilopho? Cerato is bigger. 7. See, I think 7 is too high. Because we've got a lot of those other animals. 6 equal to Dilo. Cerato is just the meh of big carnivores. Okay, I think 6 is harsh, but we'll go with 6. Maybe it's better than Dilo, give it a 7. Yeah, but what about things like Metriacanthosaurus, Megalosaurus, Kinjalosaurus, Allosaurus? We don't want all the big carnivores to be stuck at 9 and 8 stars. We need to have some balance here. I honestly think we need to move Dilo down to 5 and we can have Cerato at 6.
I think you're the right place, get your shields.
We can always move things up again. But for the time being, let's keep it at Dilo as 5, Cerato as 6. Let's see how things go with that. Any other species from JP3 apart from Hanky, which we're going to do in a minute?
Why did that hurt so much?
Don't think so. Right, Jurassic World, and let's start with the obvious candidates. Indominus Rex, where are we putting it? "10" says ECATS. 9 says Finley. 8 says Glitch. 8's lower than I thought. Because Big Dino go raw. Frogstritch says 9. Barger says 5 stars. Let me explain. Okay, Barger. You explain why you would put Indo at 5. This should be this should be interesting. Clearly it should be a 10. Well, let's let Barger explain his reasoning. It's overrated as hell and it's not even a real animal. You know, I do kind of agree with Barger. I think putting it at 10 stars takes something away from the fact that, you know, T-Rex and Spino are real animals, and the Indorex isn't. It's a fraud. And it is generic looking. I think we would put Indo at 8. I think that is fair to the real life animals that are above it. Because it is also a bit generic looking. Bro, literally the whole point of Indo is that it was made for high appeal. It's not a cool animal, but it needs to be a 10. Well, that's the reasoning given by the film. But again, we're basing this rating system off gameplay, not off the movies.
How is your upper healer, by the way?
Hello again, Grumpy Goose. You need Rex DNA to create it, that's true. Can we go ahead and put Indoraptor and Scorpius with 3 stars? I mean, I think we would have to accept that all the hybrids kind of need to be on the same tier. Because I think arguably they all have the same problem and they're all pretty similar. They are legit movie monsters. Put Scorpius on 2. Okay, chat seems to be quite split here. So what about this? Would people prefer that the hybrids in the game had their own category that was not a rating, that it was just like a hybrid category? Because it's... So Finley says yes. Yes, new category. Okay, so we'll put down here. Hybrids have their own category. Because I think it's very difficult. I think it's very difficult to make them fit in the existing rating system. Why would ever make an Indo in the game if it was lower than both the animal's DNA it was made from? Well, that's true. But then, aren't you insulting the fact that real animals... Call them god tier because it's playing god to make them. True. But the real animals have to be respected. And that's something I think Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2 failed. They were kind of disrespectful to the real animals compared to the hybrids, which are just Frankenstein monsters. So what is next from Jurassic World 1? Let's do Anki. Because I think Ankylosaurus is also going to be one people are going to argue a bit about. Because I like Ankylosaurus. I love it. It's one of my top animals. Anki is an 8. That's very high. 7 says Glitch. Equivalent to the Para. Frogstretch says 8 and 8. Anki is a 6 with Serate. Okay. Let's tackle this. Which has the higher rating? Ankylosaurus or Apatosaurus? Where are we putting Apato? Which I think is a very bland sauropod. Anki should... Apata, Ankylosaurus 100%. I would hope Anki. Billy Bob says an equal rating. Apato can be 4 stars. Oof. Apato is a definition of mid. Apato is a sauropod though, it has the size advantage. Six for Apato. That feels a bit fairer. You know, just 1 underneath Menchi. Apato is 5, so 2 beneath Menchi. Okay, if we're having Apato at 5, where are we putting Ankylosaurus in reference to that? Because I think Ankylosaurus is too... I don't think it's as high as 10, 9, or 8. So I think we're quibbling over the midfield here. So I think 7, 6, or 5. 7 for uniqueness. I mean, it is a pretty cool looking animal.
Yeah.
6... your average sort of Ankylosaurus. Would chat put Euoplocephalus above Ankylosaurus? Like, is Ankylosaurus going to be our top Ankylosaurid, or would we put other Ankylosaurids above it? So Euoplo would not be as good as Anki. So does that make Anki our top level Ankylosaurid then?
It's the wattage on the CPU that goes higher, which means it unlikely to crash.
Anki probably tied or above. We have to think from a visitor's view. Not dinosaur fans. Yeah, this is important. Yeah, we have to think about... we have to move ourselves away from being dinosaur fans and think about... if we're visiting a dinosaur theme park, would we be really eager to see Ankylosaurus? Anki does look cooler from a guest perspective. I agree. Okay, We'll stick with 7. I think there's a convincing argument for 7. Equal to the Para, equal to Memenchi, that sort of thing. I think that's fair. We've done Indorex, we've done the Raptors, Apatosaurus. I think that's everything for Jurassic World. Oh, okay. Dimorphodon. Where are we going to stick our Dimorphodon? 2 stars for Dimorphodon? 1 star. Don't forget we have Yeholopterus. It's like a fucking gremlin with wings. Flying compy. Three for Dimorphodon.
Wait, where's the other marker?
Hmm. 2. I'm going to put it as 2 because it's in the middle of... There's a lot of people saying 1. There's a lot of people saying 3. So let's go with 2. We've done... Oh, obviously the big species we haven't spoken about from the first movie. Mosasaurus. I feel like Mosasaurus, we have to put it as a 10. I feel like there's no getting around that. You know, it's the biggest animal in the park. It's... Mosa is 9. Okay, would Mosa be the top rated aquatic? Or would we put something above Mosa? In real life, 9. In game, 10. It's like the Jurassic World attraction, so 10. Chrono and Shoni might be better from a gameplay perspective, but I think we have to accept that Mosasaurus is probably going to have a higher rating. Not much higher. I think Shoni and Chrono would definitely be 9. But I think Mosa, we kind of have to put it at 10. I don't think there's any way around that. Even though I don't personally like it. Right. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Where they start going nuts with the species. So let's start with Allosaurus. Where are we putting Allo? Definitely better than Cerato. I don't think it's as good as Velociraptor. I don't think Allosaurus has the public publicity and consciousness to go as high as 9. So I think we're looking at 8 or 7. As good as Parasaurolophus? Or better? Obviously think about the other similar sized animals we have, like Metriacanthosaurus, stuff like that. 8, 7, 7, 8, maybe 8. I'd say 8 because better than Para. Allo is like the second most well-known carnivorous dinosaur. See, I'm not really sure it is. I think that if you went out on the streets and asked people to name some dinosaurs, T-Rex and Velociraptor would be the top 2. 8. Okay, we'll put it at 8 for the time being. Carnotaurus. See, I think Carnotaurus 10, 7. See, I think Carnotaurus is more interesting than Allo because it has the strange look. So I would put Carno as 8 and Allo as 7, personally. I think Carnotaurus is more interesting to look at than Allosaurus. See, but I don't think it's a 9. I think 9 is too high. 9 is way too high, Finley. What about Kinjausaurus? Which has really beautiful skins. 7, 9 if chameleon skin. Well, it doesn't have chameleon skin, so... 6? As low as Cerato. That's a bit harsh. It's got to be better than Cerato with those 2 demon horns. 7. 5, I like Cerato. I like Cerato more. Remember, we've got to try and not think about what we personally like. we've got to try and take an independent view. Put it at 8, move Allo to 7. Okay. Allo to 7, Carno to 8. Put Allo with Parrot and Carno in Allo's place. Okay. That works for the time being. May still be some adjustment here, I think. Ceratosaurus literally has 3 horns. Well, there is a species of Cerato with 3, and there's a species with just the one prominent one. Hello, Asdarkaday. Go ahead and put Moros on 0 stars. Hello, Predator. Just trying to think of what other species. Oh, Sinoceratops is next. This ugly, obese animal. I'm really tempted to put it as low as 4, but then I think there are worse ceratopsians than that. It does have the cool crest going for it, and it does look kind of cute with its obese kind of nature. 6 says evolutionary. Barga says 3. You are really harsh, Barga. By putting Sino as 3, you're saying it is less interesting than Gallimimus. Just think about that. You put Gallimimus at 4 stars, which is one of the most boring animals, and you're saying that Sinoceratops with that massive crest and that massive horn and that aggressive attitude is less interesting. Galli I would have put at 2 anyways. I feel like people would gravitate more to animals like Pachyrhino, Trike, Penta, and Styra. I don't see why everyone likes Pachyrhinosaurus. I hate Pachyrhinosaurus. I'm going to put Sino as 5. Well, let's put it as the average ceratopsian and see where the others factor in compared to it. Carno we've done, Sinoceratops we've done, obviously we've already done T-Rex. Stiggy Moloch, right, let's do Stiggy Moloch. There he is. Stiggy Moloch, what are we thinking? More or less? More interesting than Pachycephalosaurus? Less interesting? Similar sort of rating? It's just a younger Pachycephalosaurus. Well, ECATs, that theory is still debated, so... I think Stiggy looks more interesting than Pachycephalosaurus. But Pachycephalosaurus is bigger. So... I think the same as Pachycephalosaurus is fair. The animal is cooler looking, but it is smaller. So I think if we cancel out, those 2 would cancel out, and we'd end up, I think, with 5 for now. Like I said, we can always adjust these up or down as we start going along. You know, we're at the beginning of the process. We can always adjust stuff.
I forgot. I didn't realize.
Baryonyx, thank you for reminding me that Barry existed in Fallen Kingdom. 5. Really, Ekats? Baryonyx, the same rating as Dilophosaurus? Nah. Barry is a 3-bugger. You are dangerously close to getting muted. 6. 3 because it looks bad. I don't think Frogstritch that we can say just because it has a bad model in game and bad skins. Like, I think we have to try to look a bit beyond that. Defo a 6 and not lower. Equivalent to Ceratosaurus. I think that's fair. I don't think people would like it more than other Spinosaurids. No, but I think Spinosaurus at 10 and Suko will probably come in at an 8 or even a 9. I think that's... So I think Barry being a 6 seems okay. Plus, it is a carnivore. I mean, carnivores are always going to have a slightly inflated rating because, you know, bloodthirsty animals, so... You know, when you go to a zoo, you're always more entertained by seeing the lions than you are a zebra. Nasuto. Okay, well, let's do Nasuto. Our average Ceratopsian score is 5. Is Nasuto better or worse than Sino? I think Nasuto has the more interesting appearance with those double bull horns, even though it's slightly smaller than Sinoceratops. I think Nasuto has a more interesting appearance. 8 seems way too high. I mean, if we've got Triceratops at 9, and I would argue there's a massive difference between Nasuto and Triceratops. Nasuto an 8. Because its name is close to Naruto. Oh, come on. No, dude. No, that's not. Nasuto has cool skins, though. I disagree with you there, Recats. I think Nasuto's skins are awful. Very ugly. 7. Nasuto is 6. I think 6 works because then we could probably put Penta at 7 or 8. Pentaceratops having the size advantage. Five or 6. Let's go with let's say a tentative 6. And let's say we could put it up to 7 depending on where we put Pentaceratops. Nasuto, Barry. Trying to think of other animals from Fallen Kingdom that we haven't done yet. I think that's all the ones from Fallen Kingdom, isn't it?
Was that Holly?
Okay, let's tackle Dominion and its massive dinosaur cast. Right. Let's do Atrociraptor first. 6. I personally don't put Atrociraptor anywhere near as high as Velociraptor, and Pyroraptor is easily better by a massive amount. It's just a less well-known Velociraptor. Exactly. So I think Atrociraptor 6.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, I was thinking 5. So yeah, so we'll stick it at 6.
Where do I?
Dimetrodon. I think Dimetrodon more interesting visually than Atrociraptor. 3. Low 6, high 5.
One touch poison? Just die.
4 Dimetrodon. 4 with Galley.
That's when you might.
9 because it looks awesome.
My six
Yeah,
is
like
foundation,
it's got the frill. The sail surely must bump it up a bit.
It feels a bit rude, but it's true.
It's kind of just a croc with a sail though. Dimetro is pretty unique though small, so 6. 6 or 8. 9 for uniqueness and popularity. I think 6 is perhaps a little low, but we'll put it temporarily at 6. It has to be above Atrocity. Well, that would make it a 7. Equivalent to Allosaurus and Ankylosaurus. We'll get to the Giga. Don't worry, Barger. And it doesn't really matter which model we use for the Giga, since the rating it doesn't matter. Seems fair at 7. A low 7. I think a low 7 is fair. Okay, let us use the Giga. Obviously, it's a big carnivore, so it's going to be reasonably high. I think the Giga doesn't have very much that's visually interesting to go for it. 9. But what about animals like Acrocanthosaurus, which has the better skins? And, you know, the other big carnivores. 8. See, I think 8 sounds fair for Giga. So let's put it at 8. Nothing has got a 3 yet, but I think that's because we haven't gotten to the smaller animals. Therizinosaurus.
This is monster, isn't it?
I really feel like Therizino is a good candidate for a 9 or a 10. Because it really is one of those really odd animals. Low 9, 100% 10. 10, 9, 10. Is it as interesting as Brachiosaurus? Like, if you were a guest, you've just seen, you know, that massive Brachiosaurus. Hello, kitty. You've just seen that massive Brachiosaurus, and then you go and see Therizinosaurus, this massive feathered Edward Scissorhands dinosaur. Which one are you going to say was more impressive? Brachiosaurus or Therizino? 9 because not so well known. I would prefer to see a Theri than the Brachy. 10 if deer punching. Alright. 10. 10 it is. We'll be bold. And put Therizino as a 10 star. We'll be bold. 9 is fair. True. But I do think Therizinosaurus is more interesting than Triceratops. And I do think it's more interesting than Stegosaurus. So I think whacking it in at 10 stars, I think that's suitable.
All I heard from him was, I just want deer.
What else have we got from Dominion? There are so many animals in Dominion, it's crazy. Listro. Listro 1 star. I don't think anyone is going to argue about Listro being a 1 star. Listro, the pig, 1 star. No one's really going to be hyper infused by it. I quite like the mini Zilla ECATs.
Hey,
2? You know, we do have to put a herbivore at 1 star, and I think Listro is the only one that makes any sense. I mean, I think Oviraptor is more interesting than Listro, so I would put Oviraptor at 2 and have Listro at 1 out of the 2 of them. Morus Intrepidus, I think the feathers on Moros makes it more interesting than Compy, so I think Moros is a 2. Like, I think if we're gonna divide what makes a 1 star less than a 2 star, the feathers, which, you know, Dimorphodon, Oviraptor, Moros, they all have feathers. I think that makes them better than the 1 star animals in terms of look and design.
question. Is Raza and the Michael City? I might visit this.
And Oviraptor has some really nice skin patterns. So Listro has eyebrows. That doesn't make it interesting. And that, you know, a few eyebrows sticking out of it, doesn't make it
Some shit.
like as good as a fully feathered animal like Oviraptor. Can we get Ichthy and Plesiosaurus in 1 and 2 stars? Oh, bugger, that's blasphemy. Okay, that is real blasphemy. We'll deal with those in a minute. Let's finish up the minion species first. Pyroraptor, we said was going to be better than Trossi, but I don't think it's going to be as good as Velociraptor. So 8 or 7 stars for Pyroraptor. 7? See, it is the biggest raptor in the game, and it does have the feathers. It's very visually distinctive. It does have wonderful coloration. 7 because of the face. The face isn't good, that's true. Do I think Pyro is as interesting as Dimetrodon and Allosaurus? Or do I think it's more interesting? I think it's more interesting. I think the feathers just edge it above Allo and Dimetro. It is really visually outstanding. What else is in Dominion? Oh, Quets, right? The Quets. $10. I mean, it is the size, isn't it? Quets does have, I think, the size to make it as a 10. Quets is a 9. Quets is an 8. I don't think it's a... I think as an 8, putting it with Pteranodon, I think is a bit unfair. Yeah, I agree with Finley. I think, like the Mosasaurus, I think the Quets automatically has to be a 10. Because
Is the best in slot.
there's not going to be a pterosaur in the game that's going to beat Quets in terms of its size or its appearance. It's one of those animals that is so much bigger than other pterosaurs. It's going to have the winning position, I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. It's surprised the best in slot. It's like behind the end of Ray. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe you haven't finished.
11.
You're such a scrub.
We don't have an 11 EGAT. Hapsigopteryx would be close. Well, true, but we don't have Hapsigopteryx, so... Fletcher, realistically, it's so big, most zoos couldn't afford to keep it. That's true, Bargain. And in fact, one of the videos I want to do at some point is a video looking at the realities of running a dinosaur park. Like, what would be the realities of it? Like, I want to go away and do some research about, you know, the sorts of requirements zoos have in terms of, like, the amount they have to bring in and how much they cost to run and everything else, and try to scale it to a dinosaur park, because I think I haven't seen anyone actually try to realistically try to say, look, this would be the problem of running this dinosaur theme park. It would be enormous. Dreadnoughtus, good point. Where is good old Dreadnoughtus? We use the Dominion model. I'm going to say Dreadnoughtus is a 9. It's not a 10. Brachiosaurus is more publicly well known. Okay, Brachie is smaller than the Dread, but the Brachiosaurus has the public consciousness. You know, it's well known to the general public. And I think that edges Brachie ahead of Dread. But I think Dread is, like, definitely a 9, if not a 10 as well. What do we say? Do we say 9, or do we say actually Dreadnoughtus and Brachie are our 2 top tier sauropods? Like, those are our top tier sauropods. Nothing is better than Brachiosaurus and Dreadnoughtus. 10? Okay. Okay, so Dreadnoughtus and Brachiosaurus, they're our 2 top tier sauropods. Nothing is going to be higher than them 2. We've done Para. I think that's all of the Dominion species, isn't it? Are we missing any Dominion animals? I don't think we are. Iguanodon. I don't classify Iguanodon as a Dominion species because it was only done in the prologue, which was cut from the movies anyway, and then added in later. But we'll do Iguanodon next. I think Iguanodon less interesting than Para, but more interesting than Corytho, because I think Iguanodon has those really beautiful skins. So I think 8 is too high. I think 8 is way too high, because 8 we're going to have things in there like the other sauropods. Titan probably somewhere in there. Titan is probably going to be above Para, I would suspect. So I think it's got to be mid-tier to low. I think 4 stars for Iggy. I don't think Corythosaurus is that much better than Iggy, though. At least 7. Let's go with 6 for now, and then when we get to the other hadrosaurs, we'll see where the other hadrosaurs fit in around it. We'll go with 6 for the time being. And I think that's all of them from Dominion. So the rest, we'll ignore Camp. We'll ignore Camp Cretaceous. We'll just now start going through the rest. Let's go by dinosaur group. So let's do sort of the small herbivores. So Archaeornithomimus. Do we think Archaeornithomimus is as good as Galley, or lower than Galley, or higher than Galley? 2? I think it's better than Oviraptor. mean, I think 3 personally, because Struthiomimus is probably going to be a 3 or a 2, so it's not really unique. But I do think it's more interesting than Oviraptor, because Oviraptor is tiny compared to Archaeornithomimus. I mean, we've also got Struthiomimus to put in somewhere. Okay, we'll leave it at 2. So where do we put Struthiomimus then? I mean, I prefer Struthi to any of the Ornithomimids. But I think Galley would have to go in there at 4 because of its presence in the movies. So 3 for Struthiomimus, just based on the fact that it has probable nicer skins than the Archaeornithomimus does. 4, I don't think it's as high as Galley. Galley has the movie presence that gives it an edge. I think 3 is fair for Struthi. And then that gives us a nice run. You know, we have 2, 3, and 4 for the Ornithomimids. Let's go to Dryo and put it in 1. That's very harsh. What, you think Dryosaurus is the same as Listro? Because I would be tempted to say Dryo is a 2. It's got the cuteness factor going for it. All 3? It's big. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's got the size over Dryo. It's got the size over Listro, and probably the size over the... A bit behind, but I think you're too strict on giving animals worse scores for being smaller, like Velociraptor is 6-foot turkey. So Velociraptor is a 9-star because it's got the public consciousness. You know, if you go out onto the street and ask a normal person to name a dinosaur, Velociraptor will probably be quite a common one. That makes it a 9-star animal. It's got the public consciousness. Very colourful Dryo as a 4. See, I don't think it's as high as a 4. Because then we're looking at animals like the other Pachycephalosaurids and the smaller Stegosaurids. I think 3. I think 3 for Dryosaurus is fair. Let's see what's next here on small herbivores. Dracorex. 2? Is 2 too harsh? 3? 2? 3? Thinking about Dracorex. Instant 1. If we're putting Dracorex at 1, I see. What would I prefer to have in my park? Archaeornithomimus or Dracorex? So I would probably go for Dracorex over Archaeornithomimus. Draco is 4. I don't think Draco is as high as 4. 3 looks like a dragon. See, it's basically Dracorex is basically a Dryosaurus, but with a spiky head. So I think 3 stars is fair. We'll stick it at a temporary 3. Again, if we need to move it down, I think we will. I don't think there are any other small... Oh, No, we'll do all the ankylosaurids together, I think.
They represent the bosses.
Yeah. Okay, let's do... I think someone said, can we do the big carnivores next? So let's do the big carnivores, starting with Acro. Oh, Homalocephaly. Good point. Let's grab Homalocephaly. 2 stars for Homalo. One star seems a bit harsh. 3 for cuteness. It's a 1.
Looking for a thingy.
It was in JPOG, yeah. It wasn't a 1 in JPOG. Let me check, actually. I think it was a 2. Let me have a look in my Jurassic Park Operation Genesis Instruction Manual. Homalocephaly was actually a 3-star rated animal in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. That put it as the same as Parasaurolophus, Edmontosaurus, and Camarasaurus, strangely enough. Cuteness and coolness should add points. I do agree that cuteness, I think, should add points. And I don't think it's a bad thing to maybe have a few animals that are, you know, a bit outliers. So let's make Homalocephaly 3. Just for a bit of fun.
A lot of things to play.
Maybe even a 4?
And here I bought the Backgroun.
Yeah, let's make Homalo a 4. I think it's cuter than Dryo. I think it's cuter than Dracorex. By a long way. Okay, so Acrocanthosaurus we were doing. I think some people said 10 or 8. I don't think it's a 10. I mean, that would make it equivalent to T-Rex and Spinosaurus. And I don't think it's anywhere near T-Rex level of fame. Acro is a 9, a solid 8. We've got Giga at 8. And I honestly think Acro is better than Giga.
Living way.
People usually don't like obese creatures. True. 10 says Finley. Acro highest 9 at least. I personally rate Acro more than Giga, so we'll go Acro at 9. Oddly enough, Acro was... Where was Acro in JPOG? Acro was 4 stars in JPOG, so just beneath T-Rex Spino. So I think it makes sense for our Acro to be the same sort of area. Alberto is kind of a mid-sized carnivore. Kakarodontosaurus. Strangely, so Kakarodonto was another 4-star with Acro in JPOG. But I personally don't rate it as high. 6 or 7. I think that's a bit low, because I think Giga is... If you're having Giga at 8, isn't Karkar better than Giga? Yeah, it has the cool name. It does have the spikes. Seven again seems a bit low. 8 or 9. Tied with Giga. Okay, we'll tie it with Giga. 8 stars. I think that's all of the big carnivores. Oh, Suchomimus. What are we going to do with Suchomimus? Has the size over Barry, not as in visually interesting as Spino. 7? Solid 7 for Sucho. 8. I don't think it's interesting in terms of its look for 8. It's a bit like Allosaurus for me. Like it's just kind of it's a bigger Barry. It is very slim.
Yeah, that's a lot of summoning, sir. That's a lot of
It's
summonings.
pretty unique. But I don't think it's... I mean, if you're putting it at 8 stars, that makes it equivalent to Giga and to Karka and to Kano. And I think all 3 of those are more... in, you know, a more public sort of... Does have the cool skins, true. Alright, 8 stars. Temporarily. I mean, I'm tempted to put it as a 7, personally. So we may move it. 8 stars for now. Right, we've done all the big carnivores. Let's get the aquatics out of the way. So, let's go in relative size order. So Ichthyosaurus, where are we going to put Ichthy? Let's move these up. Let's move all the aquatics up so we know what we're doing here. Notho, Dunk, Shonny, Chrono, Liplorodon, Stixo, and Plesio. Is that all of them? Yes, it is. Oh, music stopped. Let me sort that out. There we go. Okay, so Ichthyosaurus, where are we putting it? 3? I think 3 is fair for Ichthy. I don't think Ichthy is anything lower, because I think being an aquatic animal gives it some popularity from the beginning. So I think 3 is fair. Starter aquatic, 3-star rating. I think that's fair. Archelon.
She looks white.
What do we think about Archelon? We'll do Alberto when we get to the mid-sized carnivores, Ecat. 6 for Archelon. That is quite high. Okay, where would you put Nothosaurus? Because Nothosaurus and Archelon kind of the same size, good skins. Nothosaurus has the Lux skins going for it. Archelon, I would argue, is more family friendly. Where would you put Nothosaurus? Notho as a 6. Notho at a 4. Notho with Lux is easy as 6. If we're saying Notho, thanks to its Lux skins, is at least a 6, then Archelon, I think, has got to be at least 5. There is nothing like no. Caught up to where you responded, I was bringing up Villo because I think it's small but undeniably interesting, and I think many other animals like Stiggy have something similar going on. Like I say, we can always adjust things as we go through further. Also, Atrocity is too high. Maybe. I would put Archelon above Notho. Even though Nothosaurus has probably the cuter social animation, has the Lux skins, and is a carnivore, so automatically is a bit more interesting. Like the Notho is like a quite a predatory carnivore as opposed to Archelon, which just kind of swims around and noms a fish occasionally. Notho is so based it killed a robot, so granted 6. See, I think both Nothosaurus and Archelon are in that band of animals that are like family friendly. They're the ones that kids are going to have fun leaning up the glass to, interact with. I can imagine that Nothosaurus would be quite a curious animal. I kind of see it like a beluga whale. Like the Nothosaurus would always be at the glass, like messing around with people on the other side, I think. Put the two together. Yeah, why not? The family-friendly aquatics, 6-star animals. I think that's fair. Dunk. Oh, Dunk is a tough one. 9. Dunk is a 9. If we're putting Dunk at 9, I think Chrono would end up as a 10. 8 minimum.
8 carats is not a long time.
I think Dunk is a 9. I think it's a low 9. But I think a 9. A huge blade mouth armored fish would draw people in. Agreed, Gajira. Definitely agreed. Chronosaurus then. Are we saying Chrono is the same, a 9? Or are we going to say Chrono is our other top tier 10-star rated aquatic? Frogstritch says a 10. I mean, it does have the shark jumping like the Moser. I think Chrono is better looking than Moser. I think Chrono is more interesting as well. It's more sociable than Moser. Has those social animations. I think the skins are better. It is a bit smaller. Chrono puts on shark shows and can cosplay as a Walking with Dinosaurs lie. That's true. See, I also think that Chrono has the better shark show as well, which is something I spoke about in my aquatic rating list. Like, the fact that it stays at the surface after it takes half the shark and just noms it on the surface so that everyone can see it and do that Tim sort of... like that interaction between Alan Grant and Tim, that look at the way that it eats, and you'll never look at a bird the same way again. I think the fact that it sits at the surface and just exposes its carnivorous eating, I think 10. We'll go with 10. We'll make it the other top tier aquatic. Plesiosaurus. Kind of cute, but not very interesting. 4? Yeah, it's like your starter Plesiosaurid in a way. But I think it's better than Ichthy. Three or 4, another starter aquatic, but with more personality. I think the personality makes it edge just a little bit above the Ichthy. Attenborosaurus. Definitely better than Plesio. Is a little dull, doesn't have luck skins, doesn't have size going for it. Easy 8, says ECATS. 5. Best aquatic besides no though. From our gameplay perspective, but I think when comparing to other animals, 6.
Oh.
I think 6 is a little bit, but it is bigger. Okay, 6. Okay, 6 for Attenborough. Elasmo. See, no, I think Elasmo is bigger. It has to be above Attenborough, but I think Elasmo has a begrudging 7. It is bigger than Attenborosaurus, even though I don't like Elasmo anywhere near as much as Attenborough. From a visitor's view, Styxo should be higher. So yeah, I think Styxo has the Lux skins. So I think Styxo is the 8, Elasmo is the 7, Attenborough is the 6. You know, Styxo has the Lux skins, so it's more visually interesting. Elasmo is slightly bigger than the Attenborough. The Attenborough is kind of our average Plesiosaurid. I think 6, 7, 8 for those 3. Styx would definitely be the highest, true, but I don't think Styx's would be more popular than Dunk. So I think the highest Styx could go is 8. So 8, 7, and 6. I'm going to leave that one to last. Shonisaurus. I think Shoni is potentially a 9. Really visually very distinctive. Is huge, that whale-like sort of... It's our top family-friendly animal, I think. Solid 9. Yep, no argument from me there. Tylo. See, I don't think Tylo is as good as Dunk or Shoni. Tylo, I'm tempted to say 8 or 7. I think 7 is a little too low. I would go 8. 5. It's a diluted Moser. Let's go 7. I think it has similar problems to the Elasmo. Like the Elasmo and the Tylo, they both look kind of ugly. They're both kind of boring. Tylo's model and rigging is terrible as well. It needs to be fixed. 8. It has the size and a good appearance, but lacks the overall wow factor. Yeah, but Styxo has the Lux skins, and we're saying that Styxo has the wow factor over the Elasmo. And the Elasmo has the size. So I think Tylo being similar to Elasmo, I don't think is too bad. So, Liplorodon. A glorified gator. Okay. Let's ignore the fact that Liplorodon looks like an alligator. Let's ignore the scoots, ignore the appearance of Liplorodon. Let's look at Liplorodon as just, you know, it's a 10-meter long Pliosaurid. Similar to Chrono, but slightly smaller. Again, ECAT's literally just said we're not going to be thinking about its appearance. We're thinking about what it is. Diluted Chrono. An 8. I think 8's too high. It doesn't have any Lux skins. So I think Styxo has the Lux skin advantage over the Lio. I think a low 7. I think Tylo and Liplorodon are pretty similar. They're similar sizes, they're similar in appearance because they're both pretty ugly. I think Liplorodon has the better skins. Tylo has the size. A good lead up to more impressive animals. Defo. Above Notho and Archelon. Yeah, because Notho and Archelon are kind of our family-friendly average dinos, aquatics. I think those three aquatics, you know, it's a good average for the aquatics. The Nodo, the Archelon, the Attenborough.
I'll tell you what it is. It's because sometimes in Sims currently it doesn't have an
Right, the pterosaurs. Barbaridactylus. Sungaripterus. Oh, that's Pteranodon, but that's the other model which we're not talking about. Tropiognathus. Okay. Let's try and be a bit quicker with these, I think. So I would like to get this done in the 2-hour time period. Yehalopterus, 1 star. You know, it is the smallest pterosaur. It's going to be 1 star. Though I do think it has the. I think it's got the looks. Yehalopterus is 10. It is adorable.
Oh no, that is actually what the thing's
I would be happy to put Yehalopterus as a 5. Just because I think Yehalopterus is an animal that you'd go and I imagine they would treat the Yehalopterus like they treat butterfly museums. You know, you're allowed to go into the enclosure, and I think Yehalopterus would be one of those animals that the zookeepers, park keepers, whatever you want to call them, would, you know, have on their arms. You know, that they would have Yehalopterus for people to hold and stuff, because it's one of those animals that would be quite easy to do that with. And it does have the cuteness factor, and we put her Manocephaly at 4 because of the cuteness factor. Okay, maybe 5 is too much. Let's say 4 because of the cuteness factor, like her Manocephaly. Geosternbergia, I think, is more visually impressive than Pteranodon. I'm tempted to put that as a 9. Barbaridactylus, I would say, is as good as Pteranodon. So I would go with an 8. Tropiognathus, I would say probably an 8 for Tropiognathus as well. 7 for Tropiognathus. Tropio is a 6.
Yeah. It's cute.
I think Tropi as a 7. Sungaripterus as a 6. Pterodactylus as 3. I think Pterodactylus is your boring starter pterosaur, like Dimorphodon. I think Yehalopterus is your cute pterosaur. Oh, Marodactylus. I completely forgot about that one. I think Marodactylus also a 3. I think Pterodactylus and Marodactylus, they're just the same to me. They're both bland and boring. Mara as the 4. Okay, so Pterodactylus, Marodactylus. We don't have a 5-star. Sungaripterus as a 6. Tropiognathus as the 7. Barbaridactylus and Pteranodon as the 8. Geosternbergia as the 9 because it's a better version of Pteranodon, and Quetz as the 10. I think that's fair. Mara does have the more interesting beak, and I think Mara has slightly better skins. Oh, we forgot Tapejara. Should we have Tapejara as our 5? That way we have a pterosaur at every level up from 2. Because I don't think Tapejara is as interesting as Sungaripterus. Ecat and Froxy says 7, but Gojira says 5 works. but the skins. But have you seen Sungaripterus' skins? Sungaripterus has really interesting skins and has a really weird beak, and it has the really weird crest. It's a good mid-level pterosaur. I mean, I think there's some argument that we could probably argue quite a lot over whether Tapejara or Sungaripterus is better than the other. I think Sungaripterus wins out for me just because it has the weird shape of its beak. Agreed, Ecats. If Tapejara had the correct diet, probably would be a bit higher. Okay, let's deal with the ceratopsians next. So that's Chasmosaurus, Styracosaurus, Pentaceratops, Pachyrhinosaurus. That's all of them. Okay, Chasmo. I think Chasmo is a good starter ceratopsian. Oh, Toro. Thank you. Okay, Chasmo as our starter ceratopsian, let's say it is less interesting than Nasuto, which you put at 6. 4 stars for Chasmo. We wouldn't be missing that much. I think Chasmo is at least as good as Gali. So I think 4. 4 is fair. Styraco. So interestingly, in JPOG, Styraco was a lowly 2-star animal. They put Styraco in the same bunch as Kentro and Toro, and they put it beneath Gali and Para and Malacephaly and Edmontosaurus. They put Edmontosaurus above Styracosaurus. That, I think, is a travesty, frankly. Styraco is a 6. I would... as good as Nasuto. Okay. I think that's okay. 6. Torosaurus, I think 5. Because we can't put it as low as Chasmo, which you put at 4. But it's not much better. So I think 5. 4? I think Toro as 5, Pachyrhino as 4, and Pentaceratops as 8. Because Penta is the biggest in game. So I think Penta at 8, Pachyrhino and Chasmo at 4, Toro at 5, so it's slightly better. Styraco and Nasuto at 6. And in 7 stars, we don't have a ceratopsian. And the weirdest. I think Penta, the size means that it does have to go just slightly under trike because of the sheer size of it itself. Penta is pretty cool with the mini tail. I think Penta has some interesting skins. I think some of them are a bit horrid. Let's do Stegosaurids next. So let's do Kentro and Hwango, Gigantospino, Woohosaurus, Chunkingosaurus. That's all the Stegosaurids. So I think Hwango is the cute animal. Cute animals seem to be going with a 4 stars. A starter 4 stars. It's like your starter Stegosaur is Hwangosaurus. I think that's fair, personally. Woohosaurus, I think, just beneath Stego. So Wooher at 8. Yep, Wooher at 8. Chunking, I think, has a less interesting appearance than Hwango. So I would put Chunking as 3, Gigant Spino slightly above at 5, Kentro slightly above at 6. So Chunking is your boring one that you start with, Hwango is your cute one, which has the good skins. Gigant Spino is slightly bigger than Hwango. Kentro, again, slightly bigger. Wooher at an 8 because it's just a bit smaller than Stego. Because, I mean, what we want to end up with is most of our animals should be kind of in the middle. We should have a lot in the middle, with a few towards the beginning and a few at the top. So far, I think we're looking kind of good for that. Ankylosaurids. So Crichtonsaurus, Polycanthus, Euoplo, not Sculidosaurus, Sauropelta, Nodo, Minmi, Minmi, I think the size counts against it. 2 stars for Minmi. Minmi 5. The starter Anki, 2 stars. I think Minmi is a starter Anki Gajira. I think I would agree with that. I think Crichton is 3 because it does have the tail club, does have the more substantial armor, so it is a bit more visually distinctive. Nodosaurus, I would go with 5. I think Nodo is the average Ankylo. Polycanthus at 4. I think Polycanthus is better than Nodo, personally. I think Nodo at 4, Polycanthus at 5, Crichton at 3. I think Sauropelta, because of its size, 7 stars? Sauropelta 7. Euoplo I struggle with. I don't personally rate Euoplo as high as Anki. I think Euoplo is a 6. I think Anki is better than Euoplo, and I think Sauropelta being bigger than either makes it a 7. Move Anki to 8. Moving Anki to 8 would make Anki as good as Euoplo. Okay. Move Anki to 8, put Euoplo at 7. Okay. Let's do sauropods next. Amaga, Niger, Alamo, Kamara, Dippy. Okay. Niger, I think, would work as our... Miss Archaeopteryx suggests moving Nasuto up to 7 because of the cow horns. See, I don't think Nasuto is better than Styraco. I think Styraco has the more interesting frill and horn arrangement. Dippy is a 6. One underneath Memenchi, one above Apato. I agree with that. I think Dippy has some fame to it, so 6 I think is good. Niger I think is our like starter cute sauropod, so I'm going to put that with the other cute animals at sort of 3. Amaga I think is cute and is visually distinctive. I think Amaga is 5 personally. I think Amaga is cute, like all the animals we have at rank 4. It's cute, but it also has the punk spine look. Visually really distinctive. I mean, for me, Amaga is easily better than Apato. Apato has only got the size advantage over Amaga. Plus, it is one of those new animals to the game, so I think it makes sense that maybe its rating would be a little higher just because it's new to the game. Alamo, 9. Easily. I easily think Alamo is a 9. I don't think anyone can complain about that. Like, it can't be a 10 because we got Bracky and we got Dread in there. But easily a 9. Kamara, I don't think as good as Memenchi. I think Kamara we would have to logically stick at 6. I don't know though, actually. 6 was I think 7. I think 7. I think Kamara, you know, because of the size, I think we have to take that into account. I think Kamara is easily a 7. I think Dippy, although is more famous, I think Dippy, the size counts against it. I think Kamara, the size counts for it. Change Dippy for Kamara. So you think the order goes Apato, Kamara, Dippy? Apato, Kamara, Dippy, Memenchi. Should we move Memenchi up to 8 then? Because Memenchi it does have the size advantage again. So then that way the order goes Apato, Kamara, Dippy, Memenchi, Alamo, Bracky, and Dread. Okay, that works. I think that works definitely. Memenchi gets a little bit higher up just because of its size. Okay, let's do any of the other smaller animals that we have left here. So let's start with and I think that's all of them. Dino, Nicus. Okay, Troodon. I think 2 stars for Troodon. I think Troodon's gonna be higher than Compy, but not much higher. 2, okay, 2 stars for Troodon. Coelophysis. 3 for Coelophysis. Yeah, being a Triassic animal and also being new to the game, I think 3, again, like a Margosaurus, just make it a little bit of a higher rating to make it worthwhile. Sinosauropteryx has the feathers, so that's an immediate advantage. Sinosauropteryx is a 4. See, I think 4, you're veering too high, I think. Hello, Jurassic Swine. Welcome to the stream. We don't have too long left, but do watch it back if you'd like to catch up. Feathers definitely help. Okay, 4 stars for Sinosauropteryx. Monolophosaurus. I'd be tempted to put Monolopho as our average. 5-star. It has the crest, which makes it look a little interesting. Has some really beautiful skins. It's kind of like your average small carny. 5 stars for Monolopho. Move Troodon to hybrid. It's not a hybrid. It might be a dubious species, but it isn't a hybrid. Procerato. I think Procerato is a 4 as well. Slightly beneath Monolopho. I prefer Mono to Cerato. And Procerato has the size over Silo. So, okay, 4. Herrera, I think another 5. Seven seems a little high for Herrera. We've put Dimetrodon at 7, and I think Herrera is far less interesting than that. 5. I think 5. I think Herrera and Monolopho are pretty average. Remember, it's not just size, ECATs. We have to consider all of the aspects together, not just size. 6, maybe. See, I would put Deinonychus at 6. I think Deinonychus as 6. Herrera and Herrera and Mono as 5s. Deinonychus as 6. If Deinonychus had feathers, easily a 7. Easily a 7. But with the way it is now, a 6. I think I prefer Deinonychus to Atrocity, but I think Atrocity has to go in at 6 simply because of its film position. It's a bit like Galley. I don't like Galley. I put Galley lower down than Struthy, but because Galley has the film position, I think artificially that boosts the ratings. Dino at 5, Herrera at 6. So you'd put Deinonychus as our starting raptor. Alright, it's brave, and I think people would complain about it, but okay, Dino at 5. Right, let's do the rest of the herbivores. We're almost there. We've already done those. Sintal. And we don't need to worry about any of those because we've already done them. Same with that one. Same with that one. Same with that one. So the rest would be Maya. Okay, so the hadrosaurs. Olorotitan. I would put Olorotitan above Para. I think Olorotitan is more interesting in terms of its look. I think Olorotitan... Dimetrodon should go to a 9. It has public recognition. See, I think 7 is too low for Dimetro. Oloro 7, 8. It's big and beautiful. See, I agree. I prefer Oloro to Para. And it's the only Russian dino. Let's not mention Russia, shall we, ECATs? Let's not go near that. It is always bipedal, which is an inaccuracy, but that's Frontier's problem, not the dinosaurs' problem. Oloro at 8. Edmonto at 6. So Edmonto and Iguanodon pretty similar in rating. Edmonto is 7. See, I wouldn't agree with 7. We've got Para at 7. Like, it's not as good as Para. Definitely not. So Edmonto is a 6. I agree. I would put Muttaburrasaurus at a 5. I think Mutta is a solid 5. Mutta easy 5. Oranosaurus. Again, I think Orano is also a 5. Orano, maybe a 6 because it has the hump. 4? So Orano is our starting. Count Cretaceous Orano is a 7. Oh god no, the Count Cretaceous Orano is ugly. I actually think Mutta as 4, Orano as 5. Maya, oh, we got Maya there. Okay, Maya as 4, Mutta as 5, Orano as 6. So Maiasaura is our kind of like beginner Hadrosaurid.
I was reading an article on should you do the road quest before you finish Endwalker or after?
Sintao, I think.
People said I personally enjoyed doing them after because
Sintao is a weird one. I think Sintao is not as good as Orano, and nowhere near as good as Para or Edmonto or Iggy. I think Sintao as 5. I think Maya as 4 as our beginner dinosaur for the Hadrosaurids. I think that's fair. Right, and all we have left now are the mid-sized carnivores. So let's start with Albertosaurus. What do we think for Alberto?
I think it's a bit weird for me because it says the END ones are very different from the Shadowbrain ones. But the Shadowbrain ones have a lot
8.
of story and everything.
That would put Alberto as the same as Pyroraptor, and I personally think Pyroraptor is more visually distinctive. 1 star for Maya. I wouldn't go as I hate Maya as well, but I don't think it's 1 star worthy. 8 for Alberta. That puts it at the same tier as Carno, and I think Carno is definitely more interesting. Because we've obviously got U Tyrannus to think about too. I think Alberto as a 7. I mean, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis put Albertosaurus in the middle, so it put Alberto lower down than Allo. So I think putting our Alberto and Allo together, I think is makes sense. Hello, No Guy. What about U Tyrannus? U Tyrannus with those feathers. 8, 10, 8. Absolute 8, 9. Personally, I think 9. It does have the feathers going for it. I think the feathers just, and it's an odd dinosaur. So I think it just edges it above the 8. I think it has the size over Pyro, and if we're putting Pyro at 8, I think it's going to have to be a 9. Very distinct, has the wow factor, could be appealing to the Chinese guests. Exactly. So 9 stars for the U Tyrannus. I think Pinocchio Rex is the 8 star. I think the Kinjao is our 8 star. I think the Kinjao looks more interesting than the Allo and the Alberta, has the better skins to me. So I think U Tyrannus Kinjal, Alberta, and Aloe, I think is the order I would go with that. Ostrovenator as an 8. I think that's a bit high for Ostrovenator. It's quite a bit smaller. I would say Ostrovenator is a 6. Ostro is a 9. It's the only Mega Raptor. But it, you know, putting it as a 9, that means that we're saying Ostrovenator is as good as Acrocanthosaurus. The edgy teens would love Ostro. It is definitely an early 2000s dinosaur. Let's go 7 stars for the Australovenator. I think Majungasaurus is our 6 star. I think Majunga is our 6 star. Megalo is also a 6 star. Metriacanthosaurus, I think, has the better skins compared to the Megalo, so I'd go Metri as a 7. Cryolopho as 6, like the Megalo. Cryo as a 7. See, I think the size counts against Cryo. Cryo is a 7. Okay, if we're going to put Cryo as 7 with that crest, I think Australovenator has to come down to a 6. I think if we're putting the crested one as 7, the non-crested one has to come down to 6. Okay, Ostra is the 6. And Silly Crest wins. Dinosaurs I've left till last deliberately. Dinosaurs is really bizarre as a dinosaur. I think Dinosaurs is a bit like Therizino, but I don't think Dinosaurs is as good as Therizino. So 9, 8, or 9. Okay, are we saying that Dinosaurs is as good as Alamo, as good as Shawnee, as good as a Dunk? Are we saying that Dinosaurs is as good as Dunkleosteus? Yes, says Frogstritch and Jurassic Swine. Definitely the most distinct and weird. Okay, it is as good as Shawnee, Dunk, and Alamo, definitely. As good as Triceratops and Stegosaurus, even, because that's what we're saying by putting it as a 9. We're saying it's as good as those classic Trike and Stego. And even Velociraptor. We're saying it's as good as a Velociraptor. Frogstritch is not budging from his position. Definitely a yes. 10 all the way. Counterpoint feathers. The feathers do give it the advantage. That's true. It is better than Stego. But we're LARPing as Borefest here. True. Okay. So, if we're putting it at 9, that's how our tier list, that's how our rating looks as a result of everything. Does anybody think that something is... I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so people can see. Does anyone think anything is wrong? Do people think anything needs to be moved? This is your opportunity. Min-my should be a 3. Move Atrocity down and Dimetro up. Atrocity at 6 and Dimetro from 7 to 8. I personally think Dimetro is too low. I agree. I think Dimetro... Dimetro has got to be a little higher, surely. It's so well known. 9, I don't think it's as high as 9. I think Dimetro is easily as well known as Pteranodon. I think Dimetro to 8. Dimetro to 8. I think Allura Titan... See, I think there's too many at 8 stars. I think we need to. I think we need to move a couple out of 8 stars. I think we need to be harsh. If Atrocity is 5, Dilo should be a 6. See, I don't. I think. I think Atrociraptor has to be more than Dilo.
Yeah, DirectX.
Dimetro at 8. So I agree with Dimetro at 8. I think we should move Acro down to Giga and Karka. I don't agree with that. I think Acro has the advantage of skins. Just looks really cool. Swap Atrocity and Dilo. Yes, yeah, I don't agree with that. I think Dilo is not as distinctive. Oloro and Werho for 7. You know, I'm going to be harsh. I'm going to say Parasaurolophus 6. I'm going to say Allura Titan 7. And I'm going to say Barbaridactylus will knock down to 7 too. I think Pteranodon is more publicly known. So I think Barbaridactylus, although I prefer Barbari to Pteranodon, I think Barbari has to go lower than Pteranodon. Swaps the Sungaripterus and Tapijaro. No, I think Sungaripterus is... I still think Sungaripterus is better than Tapijaro. Werho was 6. I don't agree with that. Werho has the size advantage. And we've got Kentra at 6. Yeah. And I prefer Werho to Kentro. Dilo looks cooler than Atrocity, and Atrocity is just a bulkier Velociraptor. Brachy is in 10. Brachiosaurus is at the 10. Werho is a 7. Yeah, okay. Werho is a 7. Just above Kendra. I think that's fair. Trike should be 10. See, I think Brachy is better than Trike. Mosa is in 10. Don't worry, nerd guy. Your beloved Mosa is in 10. Popularity, Trike is easily a 10. Yes, but in terms of size, like if we look at all of the animals we have at 10, they're like the big animals. As you know, they're all big. They're all very popular, very distinctive. In my opinion, move Kinjao and Suko down to 7. I think Suko... I don't... No, I wouldn't agree. I think Suko and Kinjao are our 8s. I think those two are fine. T-Rex to 9. if Shatunga was added, better be a 10. I think Shatunga would definitely be 9 or 10 if it was added. I mean, I think this is one thing I would say. You know, this is the rating we've come up with. Do people think this is better than Jurassic World Evolution 2s? The way that they've done the ratings. Because this is the ultimate point of this experiment. Do we think this is better, fairer to all of these species than Jurassic World Evolution 2's system? More or less, yeah. Yeah, the OG rating system makes zero sense. I do agree. Mostly, yes. Because the other thing we've got to think about here is, like, this I feel offers a better gameplay, like, loop. Because if you think about it, at the bottom you have those, you know, you start at the bottom with these small, easy to look after animals. You gradually go higher up, there's more species. You reach the middle hump where you've got most of the species and most of the dinosaur groups coming in, and you have some of the more bigger varieties and the more difficult varieties to look after. And then you come off the hump and you go down towards, you know, the top tier. So you have that nice bell curve of species going on here. Whereas the rating system in Jurassic World Evolution 1, it like starts at the very top and then it just goes down like a stone. It's like a brick wall almost. I think this represents a better curve of dinosaur variety and popularity. I like Diplo. Put it at 6. At 8. We've got Memenchi at 8. I think Dippy stays at 7.
That's the usage.
I think Memenchi wins over Dippy, personally. Yeah, I do remember that, Gajira. In the first Jurassic World Evolution, Triceratops has an abysmal rating. Which is why I think Trike deserves its place at 9 stars. Yeah, I agree. I think this is a really good rating. There's one or two I think I would adjust or move around slightly. But on the whole, I think this is a fair and very decent rating that we've come up with today. It will be interesting to see what future animals they add to the game and where they would fit in with our rating. But yeah, I think we've done a good job here, folks. So thank you everyone for tuning in for this. We got it done in the end. Don't forget, tomorrow there will not be a stream. There will just be a video from me, which will be a War Thunder related video from me, probably. That will be the only thing coming tomorrow. There'll be nothing on Saturday, because obviously we're taking a break. And then Sunday there'll be a standard stream. And the stream on Sunday will be whichever one of the two that I didn't do today. We'll probably be looking at making different biomes within a biome, I think. Because I think people struggle with using texture brushes and stuff, so we'll probably do a Jurassic World Architect live in that case. But lovely. I think we've done a good job. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Gajira, who's been here for a long time, Ecats, Frogstrich, Jurassic Swine, Miss Archaeopteryx, Nerd Guys popped in towards the end. We also had Predator was here. Am I missing some folks? I probably am, but chat's been really busy today. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the stream. I'll see you all in the video tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, I'll see you all in the stream on Sunday. This I will download, and this will be available on our Twitter. So if you haven't joined our Twitter, there is a link in the description down below. And if you haven't joined the Discord, there's also a link in the Discord down below. So do join that too if you haven't already. If you're new here and haven't subscribed, please do so, as we're trying to get to our 2,000 subs before the end of September. So I don't think we're going to do it, but we're going to see how high we get. And don't forget to like the stream as well, because it really does help with the algorithm. But apart from that, enjoy the rest of your evenings. You're not getting me to join Twitter. Don't worry, Miss Archaeopteryx. If you don't want to join Twitter, you're free to join our Discord instead. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your evenings, everybody. Stay safe, and until next time, bye-bye.